Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Let's Automate This. What's been going on in my AI journey? I had a productive week. So on Tuesday, I was able to give a presentation, a live demo for an event called AI for Science around healthcare. And this was an amazing opportunity. I was there with a bunch of developers, a bunch of people from the healthcare industry, care coordinators, doctors, things of that nature. And I was able to give a live demo of what I've been building in the voice AI space. So what I did was demo a live clinical based front end AI receptionist. And this was unique because a lot of them have never seen this before in action and see it so good, meaning I set it up so well that there were no glitches. It was able to answer what I was asking for. I gave it a scenario on the spot and people were just mind blown. I also did another thing where I spoke Spanish to the AI agent and then it started to speak Spanish back to me, showing the power of overcoming language barriers in the healthcare space. Now, I got a lot of good feedback and I'm hoping this is gonna definitely turn into something. Shout out to Jai. Jai is a developer out of New York. I used to work with him at the health tech startup that I came from. So if you need to look him up, look up Chai with Jai. Really great developer, coder who's doing amazing stuff. So he invited me to come to the event based off the content I've been doing on LinkedIn. And then I was able to give the presentation. I don't have like a live recording of what I was actually presenting, but let me see if I can actually pull up document so you guys can see how I ran through everything. That'd be dope. But experience was like that I needed it to be. Feedback was well received. And I'm excited. I'm excited to do more. I'm excited to keep the ball rolling on what I got going on in the AI space, network with some more people, some more content. I'm gonna do some more tutorials because obviously the tutorial, a lot of people like them on the YouTube page, so I'm gonna do more tutorial. I'm gonna do a tutorial on, I think my next video is gonna be on how to make the agent bilingual, or doing a live demo of bilingual agent that I did. Let me see if I can pull up this presentation that I actually shared. Just go through it with you guys, just so you guys can see deck and what I was actually able to present. Cool, so this was the presentation that I actually was able to present. AI for Science, the power of voice in health. Really gave a great intro. What I did was set the tone up. I didn't even introduce myself first because I feel like when you do, I don't know, I just try to do things different. I try to do things backwards. I try to set the tone, create the story, and then introduce myself because I feel like that lands a lot better. I went in, I set the tone. I said, today we're going to have an insightful conversation that's going to question values and, going on in the AI space. And it may not scare you, right? Because AI is a thing that may scare people. Some people are skeptical about. A lot of business owners, like if you guys saw my last video about the car dealership, a lot of people are turned off with AI. They don't know, like it's weird because you have so many people excited, but they don't know how to use it. So and that's the reason why they're turned off of it. But I went through the slide, empower providers and care coordinators to not only do their work more effectively, showing what's possible with voice when care coordinating. I set up the real issues versus funding is going. So if you know what's going on in healthcare, a lot of healthcare companies are investing in AI, but they're investing in it in the wrong way, in my opinion. And then I did the live demo. I went on, again, setting up the presentation. So I said, let's do a quick survey or stretch. So I had everybody pretty much, raise your hand if you were ever placed on hold when you made a phone call. Keep your hand raised if it was over 60 seconds, if it was over 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 4 minutes. And everybody, for the most part, kept their hands in the air because everyone has been on the call longer than what they were supposed to. Then I asked the crowd, for the call that was over 60 seconds, how important was that phone call? Because usually what would happen is if it's not an important phone call, we would just hang up. We would just say, I'll call them later, or I'll forget about it, or I'm in the middle of something. That's typically what happens. Obviously on the screen, you see that this person is on the phone with customer service for an hour and a half. So it's an important phone call. And that's pretty much how I set up the demo. I then went into some stats, right? So let's look at the stats. So the average time in the US healthcare call centers is about 4.4 minutes, about 5 minutes, far above the benchmark, which is 50 seconds. So meaning patients are waiting significantly longer to get answered. Also pulled this again, that was from Dialogue Health. A few more stats as well. 60% of people will hang up if they're on hold for more than 1 minute. So when everybody raised their hand who's been on a phone call for longer than 3-4 minutes, this resonated with them. because a lot of people will either lose connection or get frustrated when they're on the call for that long. And then in the survey said patients will wait an average at about 2 minutes becoming frustrated and may hang up. So if you're a provider, if you're a care coordinator, if you're a doctor, speed is almost currency, or speed is value. You want to make sure that you get the job done ASAP. And that's pretty much what I alluded to. I then went into presenting a live demo, but this is how I set it up. The icons on the side here, you probably can't see the ones on the left side, but I have, well, all of them. I have make.com, the ChatGPT, and 11 Labs logo. And then on the right side, I have Slack, Google Sheets, and Gmail. And I pretty much just let the audience know, if you know 3 to 4 icons on here or know how to use these tools, you pretty much have a good bulk of knowledge of how to set up an AI agent. Letting them know that this is easy to do, that clinical staff can do this internally. They don't have to go outside and hire an expert. They just have to incorporate the right tools. Let me go into 11 Labs real quick. So what I did was I set it up. I gave it a scenario where I'm gonna just go through the same scenario. That way you guys can actually see the full presentation.
Hello, thanks for calling Mega Health. This is Kathy, your AI care coordinator. How can I help you today?
Hey Kathy, how's it going? I have with Dr. Smith today at 12 p.m. I know it's a telehealth appointment, but I want to change it to in person because I just feel more comfortable. I also need to update my insurance to Cigna.
I can certainly help you with that. We can definitely look into changing your telehealth appointment to an in-person visit and update your insurance information. First, can you please confirm your full name and date of birth so I can access your appointment details?
Yes, my name is Anthony Virgo and my date of birth is July 14th, 1991.
Thank you, Anthony. I have your information. I'll check Dr. Smith's schedule to see if we can accommodate an in-person visit for you today at noon. Please bear with me for a moment.
Okay, thank you so much.
I've checked with Dr. Smith's office, and unfortunately, they are fully booked for in-person appointments today. However, I can schedule you for an in-person visit with Dr. Smith next Tuesday, October 24th at 10 o'clock a.m., or we can keep your telehealth appointment today at noon. Which option works best for you?
Let's keep the telehealth appointment, and then, I'll follow up for in-person. That's fine. I'd rather speak to Dr. Smith than not.
I understand, Anthony. We'll keep your telehealth appointment with Dr. Smith today at noon. I'll also make a note to update your insurance to Cigna. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that was it. Thank you so much.
I've taken care of confirming your telehealth appointment and noted the insurance update for you today. Thank you for calling Mega Health. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to call back at any time. Take care and stay healthy.
So that was the presentation I gave. That was the scenario where I pretty much said, hey, I wanted to change a telehealth appointment to an in-person and see if they can accommodate it. They loved that part. They were like, wow, no hesitation. It understood what I was saying, even though I was like, it really digest everything that I wanted to get done. And then I was able to get it done. And the second part of the test was, this was the one that, shocked them again, was I set up a bilingual agent. And what the bilingual agent job is to do is, what you want to do is when you're setting up a bilingual agent is, I'll say best practice. You always want to start off with the native language. So we're in New York City right now. English is like the native language. And I responded in, if the person responds to you in Spanish, which is the language that the agent knows, and you could pretty much prompt it to any language. If the person responds in Spanish, you don't respond in English. You respond in Spanish all the way up until they stop responding to you in Spanish. If they switch back to English, then that's the only way you switch back to English. So I was able to set that demo up, and I said, hey, to the crowd, this is what we're going to do. We're going to test it again and say, instead of saying hello, I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to say.
Hello. Thanks for calling Mega Health. This is Kathy, your AI care coordinator. How can I help you today?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy muy bien, gracias. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
And that right there just blew everyone's mind, because if you know anything about New York City and healthcare, New York City has so many people from different populations that speak so many different languages. And oftentimes in healthcare settings, they don't have the staff to really speak Spanish, Mandarin, Creole, whatever language. Now with AI agents, you're able to at least take this information, transcribe it, have a recording of it so that the care coordinators could understand what's going on, or the provider understand what's going on if they don't have an interpreter right then and there. And oftentimes in our industries, they resort to a third-party interpreter. So they will have to some way, somehow communicate to the person who isn't speaking English that they're going to connect them to an interpreter put them on hold, call the interpreter, let the interpreter know, hey, this is what's going on. I have a person who speaks Spanish. I'm trying to let them know X, Y, and Z. Please interpret, then connect the phone line, and then they'll start to speak. It is an hassle. It's probably the worst process that anyone could go through because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't land. You might as well just hire people who speak the language, but oftentimes these healthcare companies make decisions and they don't necessarily know the lay of the land. So that's how I set up the demo. I then completed the demo, got great feedback, and then I went into the issue versus the problem. More stats and more scenarios. So the issue was many healthcare companies are hiring AI experts to support with making care coordination better, but how can you make care coordination better if you've never sat with a client to know their needs? So a lot of these healthcare companies are hiring outside consultants who does not even have a healthcare background. And this is where they are falling short. Instead of training their staff and incorporating new AI tools, they're hiring people from the outside to then build something on the outside and then try to incorporate it, which I believe is the wrong process. So here's a quick stat from health data management. About 80% of healthcare initiatives fail to scale beyond the pilot phase, largely because they aren't aligned with strategy, execution, and governance, not the tech. So there might be an AI platform or SaaS that works perfectly for the clinicians and what they got going on, but they haven't synced with the providers. They don't know what the care coordination coordinators are going through. They don't even know about HIPAA. And this is where they fall short. Decisions and funding are being made at the top of the funnel, not where the value is. So Mrs. Smith does not care about an auto dialer that can contact her faster, predictive dashboards that can forecast her A1C. She only cares about being heard and getting what she asked for. And that's powerful. And the room felt that, right? Because everyone can resonate with that. I've worked at companies where they're prioritizing outreach and reaching a member faster and getting right phone calls, which on a business aspect is, you want to do that, but be able to contact people in the right manner. But they're throwing thousands and thousands of dollars at tools that does not add the value. It actually takes away from it. Another stat here from Superwise. Healthcare AI systems often fail to integrate because, and this is important, they aren't embedded where patient care actually happens, right? It is not happening at the ground level. It's happening at the top level. And again, this is just my experience. This is what I'm seeing, what I've been noticing, what I've been researching. They're incorporating so many AI tools versus training their staff to use AI. That would cut a lot of the cost. This is how healthcare companies or any company save money. You invest in AI tech by investing in the people who's going to be using it, right? Offer trainings, right? Offer experts. There's nothing wrong with hiring an outside consultant, but understand that they're on the outside. They don't know the culture of your company. They don't know what it feels like to have a large panel of members. And they're not really well versed on HIPAA like a provider or a care coordinator is. So this is just my advice to the healthcare industry and anyone in the healthcare industry. And then I just wrapped it up with, how do we solve this problem, right? How do we solve this problem? Let's invest in keeping humans in the loop, not replacing them with AI tools that make work more complex. Let's build AI that sits at the front desk of healthcare instead. Powerful statement right there. And that's how I ended the presentation. My QR code, the link to my LinkedIn, AI consultant from A Plus Active Services. So again, the presentation was amazing. Great feedback. People loved it. I was able to get some really great contacts, meet some really great developers and coders. And I have a follow-up meeting with a doctor who's involved with so many independent practices that would love to see this. So great opportunity. Jai, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm hyped to keep the ball rolling about what's going on in the AI space and keep this going. I'm passionate. I'm here, and this is what's going on. This is a part of my journey. I'm letting you guys know I'm getting these opportunities to either speak or build, and it's all coming from me just building my personal brand, me learning about AI, and me just doing the hard work and trying to break it down, right? I want to be one of those AI, I don't want to present myself as an AI guru or anything like that. I just want to build my personal brand and letting people know that this is a guy who has no technical background, but have expertise in certain things, and I'm going to use AI to take over the world. or just, just make things simpler. Because that's what AI is meant to do. I feel like when you're too complicated, you're too technical, you're gonna miss the target. But when you have an expertise, when you are genuinely curious about these tools, you're gonna be able to win. So that's my advice to you. If you're watching this video, if you're interested in building your own AI agency or just learn about AI, or if you're a business owner that is incorporating AI, do the work, learn about the tools that's out there, and invest in the people that you're working with to use these tools, because they're not going away. They're only going to change and get better and get newer. So I'm Anthony Virgo. Let's automate this.